Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our first whole school assembly of this year. I'd just like to start by saying Happy New Year to everyone. I know that it seems like it was a little while ago now, and a lot has happened in this first bit of this year. But what we wanted to do this morning was to just really share with you some of the things that we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. Things aren't quite as we thought they were going to be at the start of this year, and certainly when you broke up at the end of last year, we really didn't think that this is where we'd be. But I do hope that you've all had a good holiday, and the last week you had a really productive first week doing your remote learning. And I just wanted to start by asking you a bit of a question really about what are your New Year's resolutions this year? So last year we had a very different year from anything we would have expected, and you may have spent a little bit of time over the Christmas holidays and certainly last week thinking about, well, what can I do differently this year? And just spend a little bit of time, perhaps if you've not already done that, something you can do over the course of this week. What is it you are going to do differently this year? I've just got a few images here about last year really, and it certainly is a year we won't forget. And I think we'd all hoped to start this year with something slightly different. But unfortunately, we're in the position that we are in, and at least for the next few weeks, and certainly up until half term, we are going to be doing things differently in school. But there's just some pictures there to remind us of what things were like last year, and we have started this year in a really similar position where, unfortunately, you're not able to be in school, you're not able to be out and about in the way that you would have done. However, the difference is this year that we are in a situation that we know this is going to come to an end at some point. We've got vaccinations, we've got much better testing. So once we are in a position that more people have been vaccinated and we've got tests up and running, you should be able to come back to school. But we just want to spend a little bit of time with you this morning, just outlining all of the important things that we want you to be doing over the next few weeks. So some of you might be thinking, well, I was in school before Christmas, why can't I come back into school now? And there are two real reasons for that. The first one is that we have to try and reduce the amount of people who are catching the virus at the moment. So you will have seen on the news that before Christmas there was a new strand of the virus which spreads a little bit quicker than the old one did, and we have to be able to stop that. And the only way we can really stop that is by stopping the amount of contact we all have with other people. And the only way that we can stop the amount of contact we have with other people really is to stop people going out. And we did everything we could to keep you in school right up until the very last point. And even last week we thought we might be able to have you back into school, but the government decided that that wasn't the right thing to do. And we want to be able to keep everybody really safe. So at this point in time, the best thing to do is for you to be at home, having your lessons at home. But the other thing it allows us to do is to put in place ways to be able to carry out coronavirus testing for you, so that when you do come back into school, rather than going through that awful thing that you had to do before Christmas, where we had lots of people who had to self-isolate, we will be able to carry out testing in school, hopefully, so that that doesn't need to happen. So what will happen over the next few weeks then? What will happen over the next few weeks is that you will all be at home learning as you were last week, and we thought that some of you might be for the first couple of weeks anyway, but that's turned out to be for longer. The government have said that it's going to be at least up until February half term, so for the next 5 weeks now you will definitely be at home learning, and we need you to make the most of that. So unlike for lots of you when we went into lockdown in March and it was all very new to all of us, we are now in a position that actually at home you can just follow your normal timetable, and I think that's really good. So it means you can have all of your lessons. The vast majority of them will be live lessons delivered by your teachers. There might be a few occasions where that's not the case, because it may be that your teacher's absent or something has happened where it can't be a live lesson, but the vast majority of your lessons will now be live lessons and you'll just be following your normal timetable. So what we expect is for you to be ready to start at 9 o'clock every day with all your equipment, and you're ready to go. Lessons are slightly shorter than they would be if you were in school, so we're looking at 50-minute lessons rather than ones that last an hour, and just 2 mornings a week you will have tutor time with your tutor. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8:45, so on those 2 days, we will ask you to log in earlier. to make sure that your tutor can have some contact with you. There may also be some extra assemblies like the one today, and it may well be that for each year group your year team leader will decide to do an additional assembly just if they want to talk to you about something in particular, because there are things coming up over the next few weeks. Now, of course, there are other year groups who perhaps have been a little bit more impacted than others. And there may be students who are particularly in year 11 and year 13 who are sitting there thinking, well, what about my exams? So last week, the government did also confirm their exams for year 11 and year 13 would not go ahead as planned. We did write to all students in year 11 and year 13 last week. So if you haven't had that, then you need to double check your email to see where that letter is. And we wrote to parents as well last week. What we don't yet know is exactly what is happening instead of exams. But what we do know is that it's really vital that over the next few weeks you just keep working as hard as you possibly can, because what we do know is that some of your grades will at least in part come from the work you are doing at the moment. So even though you might be thinking, well, I'm quite relieved in a way that I haven't now got exams because of the disruption to the year, what you must make sure you're doing is carry on working really hard, putting your best efforts into everything, because what we do know is the work that you've done so far, the work that you'll be doing over this period, and work that you will do when you come back into school will be the things that will count towards your exam results. So please make sure that you are carrying on as normal. And as soon as we've got some more information for year 11 and year 13, we will share that with you. And we hope to get some of that over the course of this week and next week. And we'll write to you and probably do another assembly about that with you. So the other thing I mentioned was about coronavirus tests in school, and some of you might be thinking, well, what is that? So part of what we are doing at the moment as well is being able to set up a facility so that when you do come back to school, we are able to test you to make sure that it's okay for you to be in school, and actually that if you are positive and you have got a positive test, that we're able to deal with that really quickly, and that it doesn't impact upon quite as many people as it did before. So we're working really hard to set all of that up. We hopefully will be in a place where we can test staff this week who are in, and those small number of students who are in being looked after by us at the moment. But that's something that we are doing. I just wanted to remind you all as well about the importance of keeping yourselves safe at this point. The government have been very, very clear about what people should and shouldn't do. And it's just a reminder from us in school as well. We want you to keep as safe as you possibly can. We want you to follow the restrictions that are in place where you live. So if the government has said that you are not allowed to go out, and that is the case for most people at the moment, unless you are going out for exercise or to go and do some essential shopping, you should be inside, because the less you go out and the less contact you have with other people, the quicker we will stop the infection spreading. Don't forget the basic things of washing and sanitizing your hands as often as you can. Keep your distance from people as much as you possibly can, even when you go to the supermarket or when you're out and you may bump into somebody when you're out doing your exercise. Make sure that if you're having a conversation, you are staying 2 meters apart from them, and continue to wear those face masks. Also, remember that if anyone in your house goes for a COVID test or is awaiting a test result, you must not leave your house until that test result comes back. And all that is really, really important in helping us to combat and to try and reduce the number of people who have the infection at the moment. What we also want you to remember is that we are all here for you. There are whole teams of people who are at school still working for you. So your teachers are delivering your lessons, your tutors you will have contact with. Heads of year are still keeping checks on people, your year team leaders, your heads of key stage, the leadership team, all our support staff who are making sure that everything can run in the way it normally would do. All of these groups of people are here for you. So please make sure if you've got any questions, if your parents have got any questions, that you get in touch with us. If you're struggling with something, then please get in touch with us, and we will help you with that. And just finally from me, I thought I'd leave you with this nice Winnie the Pooh quote today, which says, you know, we may not be in the best place at the moment, but remember, for you, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. So keep up with all that real hard work you're doing. You've been brilliant last week engaging in all the remote learning, and we need you to keep that up. So well done and thank you. I'm going to hand over now to Mrs. McKenzie, who's going to talk you through some of the things about remote learning we want you to be aware of.
Okay, morning everyone. So I'm just going to talk you through your remote learning and remote education, just really briefly to finish off the assembly, and just a reminder how proud we are of you all and to continue to be the best that you can be. So with regards to your remote education to date, I've sent out a survey for those that were in isolation, completing their work with their live lessons. And I just wanted to feed back some of the responses I had and what we've done because of that. So 98% of you stated that you could complete your work set by your teacher when working at home, which was a brilliant result for us with all the work that we're trying to put in to support you. 98% of you last week engaged and attended your live lessons, which again is absolutely amazing, and well done everyone for taking part in your live lessons and completing your work. 91% said that your live lessons were able to support you with your learning, which again is brilliant, and we'll continue to be working on that with you. And just lots of comments from pupils, but one that I've taken just to share with you is a pupil that just said, just thank you for doing the live lessons. It really helps to keep the structure to our day. Based on the feedback then from the survey that was sent out, I've shared with your teachers last Monday some of the things that came about that you think would really help you with your learning and that you'd like more of. So I said to your teachers about making sure to review your learning with recaps from previous lessons, to make sure that we are giving clear explanations in our lessons to you. The students really like the quick quizzes so you can see your results and how you're getting on. And that you'd like to get a bit more involved and have a bit more interaction where that would work and support the teaching and learning. And some comments just about having less worksheets and having to open less sort of areas and pages on the internet. So I fed all of that back to your teachers, which hopefully you should start to see in your lessons. Just a reminder then of our expectations of you. So we want you to attend all of your live lessons that are there, and like Mrs. Aitcheson just said, the majority of your lessons will be live lessons with your teacher live there with you to support you and teach your lessons. If for whatever reason, due to a staff absent, your lesson is not live, then remember your work will be uploaded in your Teams or subject area, so just have a look in there for your work. We want you to follow your usual school timetable. If you're not attending, what we'll do is we'll contact home just to try and support you with making sure that you're attending your live lessons and you're continuing to learn in all of your subject areas. Remember to complete all of your work set and try your very best, and always to demonstrate respect, resilience and success throughout your lessons and when completing your work, to finally be the best that you can be. And in your lessons, you might be thinking, well, how will I have feedback from my teachers? How will I know I'm learning well? And how will I know what to do to continue to make progress? So your teachers will mark your work live during your lesson by giving you verbal feedback. They'll be asking questions and then they'll give responses and answers to you as well. Your teachers may ask you to complete quizzes and assignments in your Teams areas or just as part of your lesson, and then you'll be provided with feedback and answers and areas for improvement. And your teachers may also ask you to submit work onto Teams or to email work to them so they can provide you with individual or whole class feedback. So that should really support you with knowing how to continue to make progress with your learning. Of course, we also want to recognise all of the fantastic work you're doing. So as we're in our live lessons, I want you to be looking out for recognition of your amazing work, and you might start to notice praise stickers being given out in lessons, and of course your verbal recognition from your teachers. You might start to see emails and postcards coming home. You might start to receive emails from the beautiful work at CLC.college email address, just saying how well you're doing your work and some recognition of that amazing work you're doing. And even in the future, a possible entry into a prize draw and many more things to recognise all the fantastic work that you're doing. So please keep going with all of your hard work to date. And finally, just a reminder to continue to be the best that you can be, always showing respect, resilience and success. Well done, everyone.